In today's video, I'm going to be using these napkins that I thrifted. I know it's kind of late in the season to maybe still be doing fall, but I'm going to do something for Thanksgiving, and I'm going to use one of these napkins. And earlier this summer, I had thrifted this pie crust mold, and it looks like this. And I'm going to be using this today with air dry clay to make a Thanksgiving hostess gift. I thought that would be kind of fun to do. Okay, for this project, I was looking for something that I could give as like a little Thanksgiving hostess gift. And I thought about, I had thrifted a pie crust mold, and I thought, how cute would it be to make a miniature little pie and give that as the gift. So I'm going to try that. I've already kind of started. I wanted to show you that I thrifted this little pie pan for 50 cents at a garage sale. I'm going to go ahead and take that off, and then I'll clean the inside. And I've already started using the air dry clay, the DOS air dry clay. And what I'm doing is I'm just rolling it out to make a thin strip. And then I'm putting it along the edge of my pan. So you'll want a pan with a little bit of edge. And I saw this idea from Sweet Home Living. I believe that is the name of the channel. I had never watched her videos before, but she has a lot of cute ideas. And she uses a different kind of clay than I am using on my pie. But I think she's used this clay before. But anyway, I was inspired by her to make this little pie. So I'm going to continue rolling my little strip of clay out. And I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the rest of the outer edge of my pie crust. All right, I know this isn't perfect, but that's okay. No pie crust is the same. So I'm going to let this dry, and I might get some cracking, but that's okay too, because it'll just make it look more like a natural pie crust. So I'm going to let this just dry on its own, and then I will be back. Okay, so my pie crust is still drying, but I wanted to show you, this is what I needed inspiration on, what I would use for the filling for fake food. And so in her video, she used a yellow sponge. So I'm using these sponges from the Dollar Tree, and they're a sponge with a scrubby on the end. So I just cut it off so I could still use the scrubby part. And then I cut my sponge into little pieces that look like apples. And she coffee dyed hers. So that's what I'm going to do also. This is coffee, instant coffee. Just a cheap instant coffee. And 2 cups of hot water, which you can let that cool. But you want to add your instant coffee to the hot water. And then I added cinnamon and vanilla. So these are all my little apple slices, and I'm just going to put them in this bowl and pour a little bit of my coffee mixture on here just to kind of soak the apples to make them look like, or our faux apples, just to make them look like they're baked apples. You can add as much of this as you want. And the longer you let it set, you know, the darker they're going to get. So I'm going to add just a little bit more of my coffee mixture, coffee cinnamon. And I'm just going to let the sponges soak all that up, and I will be back. Okay, so it's almost been about 5 minutes, and I'll show you. I'm going to squeeze some of the, you can see that it is darker than the original sponge, so that's what I'm wanting. So I'm going to go ahead and squeeze some of the coffee mixture out of the apples, and then I'm going to fill up my pie. So my pie is all filled up, and what I'm doing is I'm just drizzling a little bit of that coffee mixture onto the sponges just to make it look like it has been baked. And you could add a little bit more of the sponges if you wanted to, maybe like 2.5 sponges. I use 2 sponges, but you might be able to use like 2.5. Okay, I'm gonna let that set for a minute, and then we'll be back, and we're gonna do the lattice over the top. Okay, so this is the mold that I thrifted over the summer, the pie crust mold, and I'm going to be using the air dry clay to make my lattice across the top of the pie. I'm gonna pick which one of these that I think is gonna look the best. Okay, so I've cast 2 of each, one that looks like the sweater mold, and then one that looks like a braid. Hopefully that's going to be enough. I think I'm going to start with the braid one and go across. I'm just going to go around and lightly attach it to the clay that's already there for the outer crust. So have you ever made one of these faux pies before? Let me know in the comments if you've ever made any kind of faux food. And those are just going to kind of lay where they're going to lay, I think. And then I wanted to kind of braid that underneath there. Let's see if I can do that. So go over and then under and then over. And then with this one, maybe go over and then go under. Hopefully I have enough. And I think I have enough room to do another one of the basket ones. Right down here, so I'll go over and then under with that one. I have to stretch that one a little bit so it'll reach the sides. Hopefully you can see that. I'm sorry. And actually I might try to fit one more of the sweater ones in there. Right here. And do the over and under. I should have done that first. Let me work on this and I will be right back. Okay, so I think I have the lattice the way I want it. I changed it up just a little bit so it would kind of, so this one's over and then under and then over, and then this was under, over. under, and then over again, under and over. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little paintbrush, and I'm going to take my coffee mixture, and I'm just going to brush over my pie so it looks like that it's baked. Now you can wait a little bit longer if you want to for your air dry clay to dry, but I'm going to go ahead and put one coat on it and let the air dry clay dry a little bit, and then I will probably put another coat on it. And I'm going to try, while I have this wet, to attach these little lattice pieces better to the side so they will stick. So I'm going to go around and do that, and then I'll let it dry for a little bit, and I'm going to put a second coat of the coffee mixture on there, and then I'll be back and we're going to do the final step. Alright, so the pie has set up overnight, and the last step we're going to do, and I learned this from the Sweet Home Living video, is I'm going to take some of the Tim Holtz Distressed ink. First I'm going to start with Gathered Twig, and I'm just going to go around the edges of the pie and darken it up a little bit, like the crust would have gotten a little bit dark when it was baked. So you can see how that does make a big difference. So here's what it looks like with, and then there is without. I think it just makes it look more realistic, and I thought this was a great idea that she did. So I'm going to be using Gathered Twig, and I'm also going to be using faded burlap to try to create that effect. So I felt like my pie needed just something more. So we're going to add some diamond dust to make it look like sugar on the top of our pie. And I felt like some of the spots were a little bit dark. So I'm using the Voodoo Gel Stain in the Au Naturel. And I'm just putting just a teeny bit on my brush, hardly any at all. And I'm just brushing over some of the areas that I think are just a little bit too dark, or that need some of this faux sugar, the diamond dust glitter. And then I'm just adding that to that area. And then I just shake it back off. You could shake it back off in a tray, the excess or whatever you want to use. But I just feel like that adds a little bit something to it. And it, with the Au Naturel gel stain, it lightens it up just a little bit. So again, I will show you what it looks like at the end of the video. So the pie is all packaged up, ready to be gifted. I wasn't for sure what I thought about fake food, but I had a lot of fun making this pie the past couple of days. So let me know in the comments what you think of this idea. And hopefully you got some inspiration for the upcoming holiday season. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.